So, I need to answer questions, and that's what I'm going to do. I wanted to let you know a couple of things, though. I wrote them down. If you are a part of my newsletter subscriber, I'm going to email you every day in September. You may not want to do that, and that's fine. When you get that first email, just hit that unsub. Hit that unsub. I make it big and bold, and it's very easy to see because Stamptember is coming, and I'm going to be sending you pictures of my cards that I'm doing for all of the collaborations. And while I was here, I wanted to actually tell you really quick about Stamptember. It is a month-long celebration from Simon Says Stamp. There is a big Simon release that will be available on September 1st, and I'm going to do a live stream on September 1st. I think I set it up for 10 in the morning. It's Labor Day. And so I am going to do that. And then after I show you my new products, I will premiere a video featuring some of the stamps and dies from my new release. The Simon Says Stamp release is available in our collection, but the collaborations are a select group of companies, and those are one and done stamp and dies that when they sell out, they're gone. And that's kind of how it works. But so I am going to be emailing a lot, and if you want to unsubscribe, seriously, it's no big deal. It actually helps to pare down my newsletter. So that's the detail for today, but I am going to pull up what I hope works, and that is your questions. Now, Fanny, I don't know if there will be free shipping. They did that promotion last year. I don't know all of the promotions for Stamptember until Stamptember gets here. So I will know when you know, and I will certainly share it with my subscribers. But anyway, just know there's a lot coming. And okay, so there's a lot of questions. I may or may not get through all of them, but I came up with a little way to scroll through them. And I thought that maybe I would try this fancy schmancy today. I don't know if it's going to work. So let's get right into it. I'm going to scroll to the first question. I have something in my teeth, which is from Deborah Kiefer. And Deborah asks, can I do a deep dive video on my filming setup with links to all my gear, recommendations for beginners? You know, that's a question that I get occasionally. And I think it would be an interesting thing for people who are wanting to explore the idea of sharing what you do on YouTube, sharing your love of crafting. And I have thought about it. I don't know if it's something that is good for my channel necessarily, because mine is more card-focused education in that regard. There have been times where I've thought about maybe I should do a separate channel for tech for middle-aged crafters who want to make stuff. But never say never. There's my answer. I think it would be, I mean, I would enjoy it because I love tech stuff, but never say never. All right. Beth has no question. She just wants to tell me how much she likes me. And Beth, I appreciate you and Emma so much for helping me on my lives. So everyone, you know, give a little love for Emma and Beth. And Emma shows up as Wreck Girly. That's how I pronounce it. Okay, we're moving on. Oh, there's a read more on this. Now let me see. I can click to my read more and I can read more. And I'm going to come back to my screen. I'm trying to do this. Okay. What black ink do I use for coloring so that it does not bleed? Hi, Doreen. Thanks for your question. You know, a lot of times I don't have a lot of things here to use as props, but I like Gina K Designs Black Onyx. I use it a ton. It's one of my go-to black inks. It's a dye ink. That means it's water-based. That means it dries quickly. And yeah, but if you're worried about the bleeding factor, you can also use inks like VersaFine Onyx Black, which can be used with painting because that doesn't spread and bleed and, you know, all that stuff. So hopefully that answers that question. She's got a few. How do I stay motivated after all these years? Well, interesting. I got a comment on YouTube today that said, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you since your scrapbooking days. I didn't even know you were still around. I think there are a lot of people that have no idea that I'm still doing crafty things, but you know, when I switched to cards, it gave me new life. And I love design, and I look at crafting and card making as playing with design every day, whether it's with the products or the colors or whatever. So for me, every time I sit down to make something, and let me tell you, I have been making cards this past few days. I'm working on Stamptember collaborations. I know what they are. I'm trying to do a card for every collab. And every time I sit down, it's just a puzzle to be solved, you know? And I guess I don't know. I like to work. So that's one way I stay motivated. And that's really kind of your comment. Okay, positive manner. And here's the thing. I didn't want to not go live today. And this is going to remind me of compassionate, caring people who are compassionate and caring. Okay, I've got to click on a read more. Oh my, okay. Coming back. This is from Michelle Stevens, and she says, I wonder how you come up with your designs for the stamps. For example, Wild Love. Does Simon reach out to you and ask for a specific type of theme, or do you create it and send it to Simon and they decide if it's something that you want to create? How long does the process take? Well, this is what we do at Simon Says Stamp. And also, I'm going to be answering all the post questions first if I can get through them before I take questions from the live. And I sent an email out and posted it in the community tab, but I just wanted you to know that. Part of how our process works, I am part of a team of designers. We have Sherry Carroll, Nina Marie Trapani, plus there are other designers. Kelly Person is part of our design team now. And we meet with Heidi before every release that we are planning. And one of the things that we do is we bring ideas to the table based on the theme. Like, we know the general themes that we need to hit based on what the time of year that release is coming out. And so I will bring ideas, Nina brings ideas, Kelly brings ideas, we bring ideas to the table. Heidi brings us a lot of ideas as well. And for those of you who don't know, Heidi's the owner of Simon Says Stamp. And that is how we start. And then, like, for example, we had our meeting last week. My deadlines are September, I think it's 19th, that the designs need to be turned in. So it's a short window sometimes. As much as I'd like to say we work far in advance, we do, but that's because we've already done this short time frame for the next release that's way out. And for me, sometimes I get artwork that I will license. I will search art sites and see what type of artwork can be licensed. That's where I pay for the rights to get their raw files and take them and break them apart and do things with them. So, I mean, it's kind of, it's a process, but I usually have about a month of design time. And that I fit in with filming videos, editing videos, writing emails, working right now for scrapbooking cards today, but not for much longer. And all the other things that go into marketing and promoting and being a one-hit wonder. A one-hit wonder, one woman, 3-ring circus. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you for that. Nan Falk Jorgensen, thank you for doing this. I've always had trouble deciding what sentiment to put inside of a card. I donate most and wonder which will be the best because I don't know who it will be receiving the cards. Now, okay, here's the thing. I don't put sentiments in unless I have a set that is specifically designed for that. And so I think leaving them blank, especially when you're donating cards, perfectly acceptable, because then whoever receives it can write whatever they want on the inside. So if you struggle, leave it blank. Okay. I'm gonna go with that because that's my go-to. And Bacon, can we get a knock it off with you and Amy Art? Amy and we traded cards, and she knows and I know kind of what we do. It's hard to coordinate time when you have so much going on. So, one of these days. Also, it's nice to see people in the chat. Again, I I can't answer the questions here because I got to stick to what's requested first. And but I see Lisa out there. Hey, Lisa. So Anne, that's question 1. We're working on it. If I'm allowed to share how many kits that sold out were made for my Christmas class, I'm unsure. I want to say 1,000. I think that's close to accurate. So I think it's 1,000. I don't think it was more than that. It's hard to know. It really is hard to know. Okay, Diana, my fellow Minnesotan, I'm going to click on the read more so that I get all the goodness. Okay. So affiliated links. When you make a purchase, not necessarily to the item that I've linked to, do I still receive the credit? Yes. When you click on an affiliate link and you go to that site, it takes my ID, and whatever you buy, I will get a credit, a percentage of the sale based on whatever that company has decided to do. Hey, Laura. Hello, my friend. I would like to see you in person someday. There's that. So yes, that works that way. That's the same with anyone that if you're shopping with Laura, if you're shopping with Lisa Hetrick, if you're shopping with Jennifer McGuire, if you click on an affiliate link, it takes that unique ID to where you are shopping, and you don't have to buy the exact thing. It's the whole purchase. So thank you for asking that. Diana wants tips on fussy cutting. Oh my goodness. You know, get some good sharp scissors and go slow and use a lighter weight cardstock. If you're going to fussy cut, don't use a 110 pound because that is just, you are gonna just struggle. At least I do. Part of that's why I buy the dies. Also, I'm gonna grab some coffee here while I'm just talking. Okay, now let's see the next one. I turn my paper, Diana. I turn my paper, I go slow. And I'm glad you appreciate my sense of humor. Okay. What is, Tracy wants to know, what is my best suggestion for organizing and preparing to make cards in bulk? Oh, she's planning on selling. Okay, let's do the read more. Now, here's the thing. You got to do the prep ahead of time. If you have die cutting, if you have stamping, I suggest just set up a station. Clear a spot on your dining room table. Get all your things ready, because the more things that are ready to go, then you can just go, 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 go. So just set it up like a Jersey Mike's, right? You're going through the line and they're putting on the jalapenos and their tomatoes and maybe the sprouts, not sure. But if you get it all lined up, then you can do that. And do I organize my supplies and tools in sections? Well, kind of. I have an old craft room tour, and I will add some links to this. I should take some notes just so Beth and Emma can sit back and relax. Craft room tour. It's not accurate based on today, but it's close, because everything in front of me is tools. You don't see the mucky muck. I see the mucky muck, and I have my most used things organized. Craft picks, bone folders, scissors, paintbrushes, rulers, pens, all those things very close by. Hey, Dana Joy, my sweet friend. So yes, I set it up for the things that I use the most. And I hope that helps. Okay, there's going to be a lot of have to click on show more because I blew up the questions so they'd be big. Shar wants to know, I'm worried a lot about the small craft companies with the tariffs. How can we support them when we can't afford to buy from them all the time? This I get. People have budgets and we can't just buy everything we want. I am in that category too. I just happen to get stuff for free because I work with these companies. One of the best ways you can support a company without shopping is watch their YouTube videos. Watch their videos, let the ads run, right? Just let the ads run a little bit and don't skip past them for a second. Let that YouTube know that someone watched an ad, because many of the channels do get ad revenue, albeit it's not a lot of money, but it is still money to help support that business. Companies are struggling. Companies have closed. This is a real issue that we have now. The part that makes me so sad is that They're small businesses, and small businesses are a backbone of this country. And I think that's one of the things that makes it great to live here, is that you can be a woman, you can have a business, you can have employees. Thank you for the super chat, Audra. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And unfortunately, the tariffs are harming these businesses because other countries aren't paying them. The companies are paying them, and then that cost will eventually have to be passed along to the consumer. So these small businesses are struggling. They're going to struggle more. That's my fear. And of course, I have so many friends now in this industry. I've always had friends in the craft industry, but I have gotten to know company owners on a very personal level. So watch their videos, share their videos, engage on social media. Those are some ways that you can help these companies. So thank you for that question. Gina K has a great video that she did talking about where they had to raise a price. It's pretty great. Unfortunately, and Daily, I see your comment, we don't have the infrastructure at this time. We had a dye company here, and it actually is so much more expensive when you do things in the United States at this time. Hopefully that will change, but it's not going to change in the near future. All right. Oh yeah, Barbara, my black ink, go to Gina K. I just love this ink. It's just the go-to. The reason I show you the cube, I keep the cube here for just about everything. Just about everything. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. So that's the one. Gina K Designs, Black Onyx. Love it. Okay, Catherine says, let's click on the read more. Okay, Catherine says, I'm torn between the Better Press and the Glimmer. If you had to choose one over the other, which would you choose and why? Since both require a different set of dyes apart from regular. Well, here's the thing. Did you know that the Better Press and the Glimmer, they can both use press plates to transfer foil? So they actually can use common dyes. Now, here's the thing. I think I like shine better than just the press. If I had to do one, I think I would do Glimmer. I have the Glimmer. I have the Better Press. Every time I use the Glimmer, I'm shocked at how beautiful it turns out, especially because it also presses into the cardstock. That's just me. But I would do that. Oh, actually, I did want to see too. Marita just pointed out, Spellbinders did a great 14-minute, it was edited to a 14-minute segment about tariffs and business, and why don't we make all the things here in the United States. I highly recommend you watch it. It's just information. Could be helpful. Okay. Hopefully that, yeah, I think the Glimmer. I just think the shine is fun. Kim wants to know, which manual die cutting machine would I choose and why? I have the Anna Griffin and I love it. Well, I only use two. I have an Intracut from Gina K and I have the Spellbinders Platinum. I love Gina's machine because of the adjustable tensions, and there's only 2 plates. So that for me makes it easier. I don't have to pull out as many plates. I just adjust the tension. I don't necessarily know how to cut everything on it yet. But I have some notes written, like when I have a 3D folder, I want to make sure that I'm using that. Both are great machines. The Intracut just has fewer pieces and an adjustable thing. So it makes it very easy to use. They both fold up, they both store. You couldn't go wrong with either, but those are the only 2 I know that I have used. So, all right. So let's see. Charlene wants to know, arthritis issues I get, trying to find a stamp pad with quality ink that will allow me to open and close it easily. Most of the pads I have, they have a similar mechanism in terms of they just have a lid and they open. The basic ones that look like that, they're pretty easy to open. I feel like there might be ones that might be harder. Sometimes I think cubes can be harder to open, but that's just when they're new. And if I haven't used, Tim Holtz one. Oh, Ingrid, I do have a baby one that's a Tim Holtz one. I don't have the big one. I'm talking big machines. I have 3 small ones. We're not going to talk about that. We might talk about that. But most pads are not too hard to open. I think sometimes like those Stampin' Up pads that used to open and flip and you had to push back in, I think those were a little hard to open. That's just me. Okay, let's see what Fanny's question is. I'm going to click on the read more. So Fanny says, like many crafters, I have too many supplies, not enough storage, and not enough time to craft. How do you decide what and how to part with your crafty items? Do I have a tracking system, and do I just get rid of the old for the new? Okay, number 1, I do not have a tracking system. It's all just off the top of my head. Number 2, I have to move things out to make room for new. So part of my parameters are this. I store by company. And if it is a piece like Concord and Ninth released this pop-up mechanism die set, I will never part with that because that can be used with so many other things. So that gets kept. Whereas maybe one of their more specialized dies might get put in a box for donation. The donation often goes to my husband's school. Teachers are the hardest working people I know, and I like to send craft supply boxes to them and to do with what they will, not for the students, for them. So it feels good to be able to do that. Now, so I do have to get rid of the old to make room for the new. My studio is 8.5 feet by 11. It's literally the size of a letter piece of paper. And I definitely do have to make room for the new because there's a constant flow coming through. So I hope that answers, because yeah, I can't keep it all, but think about schools, think about community centers, churches may have, I just, thanks to some of you who donated a ton of stuff to my sister-in-law, she heads up the Sunshine Committee at her church, and they're making cards left and right with a few things from me and a ton of things from a few of you. So that's pretty amazing. Okay. Franny wants to know about how I mail cards. Oh yeah, cards. So here's the interesting thing about that. So I sent a card out to last week's card winner. I don't remember who it was, and I hope you get it. Slipped my mind. The postage was $7.20, and that's fine. But it was the pop-up card, the C9 pop-up card, and I had to put it in a hard side mailer. And because it was a little thick, it counted as a package. So it depends on the card. If my card is like flat with not much, I'm usually fine sending it through the mail. But if your card has dimension and all the other things that make it thicker, you might want to run that by your post office, because they have a thing. They have a little guide, and they will push your card through. If your card does not fit through that slot, you're going to have to add more postage. So, boops can cause issues. All right. Thank you for that question. Christine wants to know, what is my thinking process for the cards I make? Oh, thank you for your kind words. Let's read more of those kind words, because I'm not, thank you so much. That's very nice. Thank you. I am down to earth, and I am kind of hilarious. I've said this in past Q&As, I think, but my process is about the product in front of me. And I look at that product and I think, how can I use this that it will be cute? That's literally what I think every time I sit down to make a card. Like, how can I make this cute? I was working on a collab that I can't tell you who it was, and it was kind of cute, but it wasn't great. And I had to really think it through, and I added a few extra things, and it went from to that's really cute. Sometimes the process is playing, moving things, thinking, looking at your card and saying, am I trying to make fetch happen? I say that to myself all the time. And for those of you who don't know, It is from Mean Girls, but it's when you're trying too hard. And there are times when I make cards and I'm like, that you're trying too hard. This doesn't look good. That happened to me over the weekend as I'm working on cards. So the process is just plain. And does this work? Does this not work? How do these pieces fit? It's always kind of a design play. And when I'm live, usually and also because of, things that happened locally here today, I didn't make my usual spiel and remind you, normally I make cards on my live streams. Today, we're just asking questions. We're just answering questions. So it's just playing around. That's my process. It's not anything I adhere to, it's just, but it is all based on product and design. Peggy wants to know if I could only use one company of dye ink, which company would you choose and why? I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm going to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. No, here's the thing. I have all the inks. Well, I'll tell you who I have all the inks. Gina K, my first and go-to, love, I know her formula so well. Simon Says Stamp, I love those inks. And Concord and Ninth. Now, new to me in the last year and a half, Ulta New. I know I'm starting to learn more Ulta New inks. So I love all of them. They're quality inks. They're dye inks, right? They're water-based inks. They blend beautifully. They stamp beautifully. They are different than my Distress Oxides, which actually I forgot about them. I have a video coming in Stamptember that has oxides. I'm getting back into oxides. Actually, 2 things. They're all great. I also have all the Pink Fresh Studio inks. I just don't know them. I haven't used them as much. I have Simon Hurley's inks. I don't know his as well, but I will tell you what, his Black Widow ink pad is the bomb. It is so good. So yeah, When are you going to see, Laura, when are we going to have coffee and French fries at some quaint Minnesota restaurant? Laura, you should come to the state fair. You guys should park in my slab, and you should get the fries at the fair and a lemonade. You would lose your mind. I just want you to know that. It'll happen. Laura and I do not live close. She's about 2.5 hours away. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Okay. Sherry. Let's see what Sherry says here. Okay, Sherry. Getting ready to redo your craft room. That sounds fun. Do I have a do's and don'ts list? Or if you have the one product that is a must-have? I don't make videos. I just make cards. Oh, Melissa, the black ink, it's just very black. Simon's ink is very, very black and dark. And when you stamp with it, you kind of see it. And also, Ingrid, I've never used interference inks. It's going to happen. This is so hard. I'm going to say that the IKEA Calyx units are the best thing that ever happened to crafting. You can put things in them. They come with inserts. You can buy craft things that are designed exactly for the Calyx units. They're my favorite thing. The fact that that's how I started my studio redesign is I took some pictures of Calyx units. I sketched them out. And I said, this is what I can fit in here. And that is when I realized I could bring everything up and this could become a craft room. So that's my only do. Look at Calyx units. Think of how you can take the various inserts and make them work. It's a fabulous, fabulous thing. And that's just for any crafter. I just think they're great. All right, Michelle Hackett wants to know if I ever pull out an old stamp set that I haven't used in a while and create something with it. And the honest answer is not very often. Here's the thing, when your hobby becomes your job, you prioritize what you are creating differently, because I need to do something that can turn into a video that can actually fall into my financial picture scheme, because this is how I support my family. This is how I bring income into Dan and I's structure. So using older things doesn't happen very often. I had a video series that I was doing for a while, something old, something new, something borrowed, something blank. That was fun because that allowed me to go back. I have so many stamp sets that I love, that I've designed, that I haven't touched in years. And that makes me sad sometimes. So that is something that in 2026, I would like to visit more, because I have things that I want to, that you may have purchased, that I want to show you more ideas for. There's definitely a production cycle in product design for all the companies. That's how companies keep moving forward, but it can be challenging when you have older things that you want to use. So that's my answer. I got to get back to it. Oh, Kristen wants to know my top 5 tips for starting card making as a business. I have a question for you, Kristen, and I don't know if you're watching today, but do you mean to sell your cards or to start a YouTube channel? Because I wouldn't know the first thing about selling cards, because I don't sell my cards. And yeah, but if you're talking about a YouTube channel, the top 5 things, here's a thing. Number 1, start making cards that you love and share them on social media and tag the companies whose products you use so they know you are out there. Number 2, do you have an iPhone? Oh, to start a YouTube channel, there you are, Kristen. You need something to film with, and it can be an iPhone, because I used my iPhone for the first 5 years and it was just fine. It looks great. It's a great camera. Number 2, 3, find a place that you can set up to film some things, okay? And number 4, make 5 to 10 videos. 5 to 10 videos. Get some things made before you launch a channel, because what will happen is you'll make a video, you'll launch that channel, and then you'll just kind of sit there. If the video doesn't do much, you'll be discouraged and I think, why start YouTube? Why even do this? If you start with a bevy of things, if the algorithm happens to serve up your video, and someone likes it, then you'll have more things, okay? So you want to collect a few things. You do not need state-of-the-art equipment, but you do need a good microphone of some kind. You do not have to break the bank on a microphone. The microphone that I use for my live streams, yes, it's a $279 microphone. Don't do that. There's cheaper versions, but you do need a microphone that doesn't sound awful. And there are videos on YouTube. Google low-cost microphone for voiceover, or something like that, because people are more apt to watch a subpar video than to listen to bad audio. If your audio sounds bad, people can't listen to it, and they are more likely to click out. So a decent but cheap microphone can do that for you. Make 5 to 10 videos, get a feel for it, because it is hard to sustain unless you're really passionate about it. And the thing is, this is my job and I freaking love it. I love the tech. I love the tech. I love all the stuff, but it's been a growth process, right? It's taken me a while to get everything where I want it, but I did not start with all this. I had a couple cheap lights, I had an iPhone, and I had a clip-on lavalier mic and a dining room, and that's where I did pretty much everything. I have a couple old posts on my blog that you might find helpful. One is old and one is older, and I will be sure to add those links to my description. Links to how I film. Even though some of the stuff is outdated, most of the stuff is not. And yeah, Mindy and I geek out over tech together. We share ideas. We ask each other questions. I have a lot of friends in this industry. Back in the olden days, it was my good friend, Allie Edwards, who is still killing it in the scrapbook industry. And Allie and I shared, like, what do you use for this? What are you using for this? Because we taught online classes in scrapbooking. So I learned a lot from that too. I will say the other thing, Kristen, tip 5, don't go in with expectations that you're going to own YouTube. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes dedication, repetition. And even then, I will share a video that I think's great, and it doesn't get the views that I would hope for. It's hard to look at numbers and not think that you're failing somehow. But yeah, like Daly says, it's hard to understand the analytics. I don't know the secret. My growth has been slow and steady. I have over 1,000 videos on YouTube. Most of them are card making. And my good friend Jennifer McGuire has told me all the time, do not just focus on numbers. Focus on what do you want to do? How do you want to share the information? Because that can be really disheartening. So there's that. Okay. Let's click on this question from Jenny Lynn, handcrafted. How far out do I plan content and what are some of my best tips for staying? Okay. Jenny Lynn, I would like to say that I am planned in advance and I am good to go and I'm like on it. Oftentimes I am scrambling. Now this week I have planned ahead. I am working ahead on Stamptember. I have videos planned for next week for Stamptember. But I am only usually a week ahead ever at the most. Today I had to film a video and do a card that I'm doing to as part of a celebration that's going on all week for Concord and 9th. I should have had this done 10 days ago, but I'm like, nope. I know I have to have it done by Friday morning, so I filmed it this morning. I always feel like I'm not behind, but I am never too far ahead. And that's just the nature of it. I'm really organized in what I do. It just doesn't know it. I just don't always plan ahead and know that I've got that in my back pocket. In fact, I actually did my video for Gina K last night for her release. I did that 10 days ago. When the kit arrived, I made the video, I had an opening, and then I just uploaded it and let it sit there. And then yesterday I had to do the supply list and all that stuff. So, it really depends. And sometimes when time is of the essence, I have time to plan and sometimes I don't. So it's funny. Last night I watched Ralph Tyndall did a video about his experience so far, and Ralph, has blown up on TikTok and all those, and his YouTube is blowing up too. And it was just so interesting that to listen to other people who are one person 3-ring circuses, and it's a lot, but you gotta love it. You gotta love it, because if you don't love it, I think that will show. And I still love this so much. So, okay. Sherry wants to know, how do I decide which greeting and which style to use for your cards? Again, it's what is the product that I'm using? And if I know I'm going to do something for Concord and 9th this week, or I'm going to do something featuring CZ Design, that's me. I literally will, take whatever it is and work with it. So it's not so much about me deciding, it's what is the product that I'm featuring, and that decides. That's how I decide. It is all product based, and what do I need to share with my community? Sylvia wants to know, do I still scrapbook? And would I ever want to do a live with tips while creating a fun layout? Maybe Halloween themed. I love Halloween. Sylvia, the answer is no. I do not scrapbook anymore. Wait, is Ralph here? Ralph, I was just talking about your video and talking about being a one man 3-ring circus, right? I thought that was great. I was going to actually send you a screenshot of your video last night because I was watching it before I went to sleep, and I thought it was great. The one you did about, what am I doing kind of thing. Anyway, Sylvia, I don't scrapbook anymore. And so I would not do that. And I left scrapbooking behind. I loved it so much. But if you would like the unvarnished truth, scrapbooking was not financially feasible for me to continue doing as my career in the way that card making has been. And I learned a lot of things about working in the scrapbook industry. I learned about product design in the scrapbook industry. It did not pay well, and it would not have been feasible to be able to support myself, my family, when I was putting my kids through college, all of those things. Yeah, it just wasn't. And card making has been a different world for me. It's interesting because Ralph is here, and I know he and I have different, like, Ralph has gotten a lot of great brand deals, and I think that has created new opportunities in card making that did not exist before. I mean, he listed some of the companies in his video. For me, being a smaller maker, most of what I do is affiliate income and product design. Those are the things that are the key areas that I make money. And but scrapbooking, gosh, it was not there for me, except for classes. But there you go. All right, let's move on to, Roberta. I'm gonna have to click on your read more. There we go. What is one thing that I wish I would have known? Oh, when I first got into card making? How fun it is? I didn't know. I figured it out pretty quickly. Maybe that isn't one thing I wish I would have known. I don't know. Everything about it was a shock and a surprise and a delight. Jennifer had told me for years, and we've been friends since we were both in the Hall of Fame scrapbook. I've known Jennifer way too long, and I love that girl. But like, she told me, she'd say jokingly, you should make cards. You should make cards. I'm like, pshaw. I didn't know it was going to be this fun. And here's the other beautiful thing. I don't need anyone's permission to make a card. In scrapbooking, right? Your kids grow up, they don't want their stories and their faces plastered all over the place. And I've made so many scrapbook pages about myself. I'm good. I'm good. But in the card making, it's just about design and play, and it's so fun. And so there. I don't know if that answers your question. Oh, I just saw Ralph used one of my sentiments. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you. Getting it out to the people. What is my favorite style, technique, or products to create with? I think right now, Roberta, I am on a die cutting kick. I did the card I did this morning. It was all die cutting, and there's something about it. It's very paper piecey, and I used to not even think I would touch something like that. Not even touch it, but I am really into die cutting, and die cutting is into me. Okay. 2 questions. Oh, let's see. Let me see here. Okay. What makes one silicone sticky mat cost $50 and one $9? What am I missing? It depends on the size. That I would not know what the size was. I know that the big Altenew one, think of it as one big giant stamp. That 9x12, that's a lot of material. So I don't know how to answer that. It is based on how much material and where it's made. So I don't know where Altenew's is made, and I don't know where scrapbook.com's is made. So that could be part of it. Oh, and what is my preferred method for gluing down tiny or intricate paper cuts? The sticky sheets, I do have problems with those. They get mangled for me too. I've been doing this little guy. Even though I did a reel on this and people lost their minds on, that's a dumb idea. That's so messy. That's not your idea. I know it's not. But this I just used in the video that I'm going to share on Friday to patch onto glue and add little glue dots. It kind of depends on the piece, but those sticky sheets, I don't love them either. I don't know why. I like liquid glue. I like Connect glue. I put them by my face here so they stay in focus. That's what I've been doing lately. So I hope that helps. I don't think we're going to get through. We may have to do another next week because my goodness. Okay. Oh, let me click the read more. All right. Grateful. Can't believe I am completely disgusted with. Purchased the older machine. They came out with a new one. There's no instructions on the new one. Wait, I'm reading this. Demonstrate sandwich. Do you know what? Yes, I would say reach out to Spellbinders. They're great for helping, and that might be able to answer your question, because the one I have has all the instructions on the plates. And even some of the older ones did too. So, yeah. So check with Spellbinders. Email them. Email their customer service. They want to help their customers. Okay. Lisa wants to know, how do companies decide what theme to go with for a release? It seems like it's not uncommon that there's the same theme for a particular month. As I said when we were planning Simon stuff, there's definitely things that we hit, right? And I think most companies know if you're going to do Christmas, you should get some things in July. Simon, we've moved back. That's why my class was Christmas in July, because, by the time you hit like October, holiday releases will come out. But a lot of card makers who are making all the things, they have started well in advance if you're making your own cards. So, it is seasonal. And then there's like little twists, because there are companies that might come up with something really funky and cool that has nothing to do with the season, but they just work that into their release. So there's definitely some commonality. And also there are design trends. You can Google what animals will be trendy in 2026, and it might be the octopus. And then you'll see a lot of stamp sets with the octopus. I mean, there are design forecasts and trend forecasts, and every designer I know pays attention to those, especially color forecasts, design trends, because it can give you ideas as a product designer. So it's also based a little bit on that in terms of very specific things. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, let's see here. And I know there's just so many questions, but I appreciate this format because I can actually get them in order. Rebecca wants to know why she's making a mess with the liquid glue and the tiny tweezers and getting glue. Okay, I love my tweezers. They're always sticky. So what I like to do is alcohol in my little bottle here. I spray after I'm done with a session. I take a kitchen towel and I just kind of wipe them off. I try to keep them clean because I know what you're talking about. They get sticky, and it's just, so I try to do it before it dries, but sometimes I forget. Okay, so hi, Christine. Hello. I'm sure we've created many stencil floral backgrounds that hasn't become a card. Yeah, like a box of them, right? What's my thought process when designing a card with a pre-made floral background? Do you mean like a piece of pattern paper or just one that I've already made? Sometimes you will just do something crafty, right? You'll ink blend, you'll have some fun. You want to do something without any purpose. You just want to make something, which makes perfect sense. However, you just stick it in a little box and whatever. What I think that's great for is, let's say, like this weekend, I had a wedding to go to. I did not have a wedding card. So I did have a card that was generic enough that it worked. But sometimes if you have like a pre-made something, you can look and see, do I have a congrats die cut? I can pick a coordinating cardstock, trim that little panel that I made down, pop it on. There you go. You've got a card that you could use for whatever the theme requires. It's funny that Mindy's never cleaned hers. You guys, how can you not clean them? They're covered with goo. I have 3 pairs, by the way, too. But yeah, that's what I do. If I have those prepared things, I just keep them until I have a theme. And because I didn't have to do that this weekend, but I was very close to having to dip into the things, all the things. What, Ralph, are your ears burning here? Okay. What are my thoughts on how the industry can fully embrace different voices, more diverse creators? I feel like we make some traction with Ralph Tyndall. And then offering shrink back down again. Well, I think that, yeah, we need to welcome as many people into this industry as we can. I'm a very open, loving, I want to include all communities in my community. And I think Ralph is a great example of reaching and crossing a bridge to get more people, get more eyes on cards, because he's young. He's a gay man and he supports great causes. And Ralph, you're just a young hipster. You're just young, and that's what we need. You know, we need an infusion of youth and diverse viewpoints and people to get more people to make cards, because it's fun and there is room. And anyone that says there isn't room for more diversity and inclusion in card making, I don't think they're onto it. I think we need more of it. So I say, you know, share with more people, engage in conversations with people who are different. Yeah, dudes craft too. You know, it's like there's room for many more in this industry. Oh, you're 30? Oh my gosh. I'm old enough to be your mom, and that would be great. I would be a great mom. I am a great mom. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Question is about questions. Oh, you know what? Here's the question. If you have a question, Arletta, that gets missed, Cathy at cathyzilski.com. You can always go to my website, cathyzilski.com, and there's a contact me, and it will take you right to where you can ask me a question. When things come to that email, that's what I answer, okay? That's what I answer, and I will always answer at that email, even not the weird, I get the weirdest pitches. Yeah, but not from you. I will answer from you. I'm talking about companies because there's like, why would I show a lawnmower? Why would I show a lawnmower on my channel? Things like that. And yes, because in the chats, I don't always see the questions. I just don't have, I can see some, but then when I'm going, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to, keep it all going. So please email me with a question directly, and I will do my best within 24 hours, unless I'm away from my office, which is almost never. Okay, Mary, best ink cardstock weight for crisp sentiment stamping. Well, I do think I'm a fan of Nina Classic Crest Solar White, the line. And I saw someone post that in the chat. But I love that paper. I love the finish. It's a very high quality paper. I order it in bulk from Nina, the paper mill itself, because I go through it like crazy. And crispness depends. So here's the thing. I'm a big fan of two pigment inks, Altenews Obsidian Black and the Nocturne, VersaFine Clair Nocturne. They are pigment inks. They take time to dry. You can heat set them to dry, or you can add, clear powder and then heat set, and then you don't have to worry about it. They are really crisp inks. They will hold detail beautifully. I also love my Gina K Onyx Black. I also love my Memento. I have a little Memento too. Sometimes they will have a little bit more feather. It depends, right? I think it's better to ink up your stamp, don't over ink it, bring it down, press. I'm showing the stamp positioner motion, and then do it twice. Maybe do it 3 times. Just don't press really hard. Build up your ink, and it's crisper without smushing down real hard. Anyway, I think there's so many more questions. Let's move on to Karen. Hi, Karen. How do you know where to put the sentiment after making a card? My eye can't see it looking good any other place but the middle of the card. And the only time it moves is when I'm casing a card. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little secret. The middle is a great place for a sentiment almost every time, depending on what you're doing. You do not have to reinvent the wheel if it's working. I put things in the middle all the time. Why? Because it's a great place for things. It really depends on what you're working with. And if you feel like it looks good in the middle, the only thing I care about is if you have like a sub greeting or a super greeting, like a hello, my friend. Just make sure if you're in the middle, make sure those other things have a physical, visual connection, so you don't place those other things in weird places that create awkward space, the middle is a great place. And if it feels good, do it. I shouldn't say that because then people are going to go out and do all kinds of crazy things. Okay. We have a question from Robin. And Robin says, old embossing powders. Oh, they don't seem to melt. Okay. You know, they might be duds. I have some really old embossing powders that still work, but if you're using one and it's not melting, pitch it. It's seen its better day. I mean, 30 years is a long time ago, so don't just ditch it. Get something fresh. You're good to go. Okay. Oh, a question from Linda. Am I planning on designing another kit for Simon Says Stamp? You know, I've done one stamp set for a kit, and then I did my class kit. So yes, I mean, things like that will happen. It's just not on my schedule yet. So never say never. Thanks, Ann Merritt. Thank you for the super chat. That's so kind of you. Okay. Laura Forrest wants to know, do I miss scrapbooking? I don't. And if I had grandchildren, I mean, I have a grandkitty. He's here today, actually. I don't think I would take it up again. And the reason why is this is me. I personally feel that's my daughter's story to tell, and I become part of her story and the grandchild, but I'm not going to document their story. I have too many scrapbooks as it is. We're gonna let them live. I love that I did them, and I love that I have them. But when I check out from planet Earth, I don't care what my kids do with those. They want to keep some, great. They don't want to keep them, great. I don't. It was part of the creative process. I feel like, just like with card making, even if I make a card and I make so many and I don't send them, it is the process of creating that kind of fills me up. You know, the process of design that gives me joy. Same thing with scrapbooking. I loved it when I loved it. I don't want to do it now. I don't really go back and look at anything, and that's okay. If they love it, great. You know, I know that sounds a little surprising, but all right, let's check on the Tina Sawyer question. Now, Tina, I shared that a little earlier, so hopefully that would be good. Now, would I do anything differently? That's a different question. No, I don't think I would. If you go back to my first videos, they were far more in depth, I think, than they needed to be. Like my first video, Cathy Makes Card 01. That's my first card making video. I have a few. I joined YouTube in 2006, so I'm coming up on 20 years, but I've only been sharing content in the card world since 2017. You know, I don't think I would do it differently. You just make videos, and if you love it, if you love all of it, stick with it. And again, I have to say, if you don't have at least the ability to embrace the love of technology and figuring out some of the things with editing and maybe typography and thumbnail design and all these things, you might not love it as a whole. I am a tech nerd, and like I said, you don't need all the things, but I love the tech, I love the editing, I love the thumbnail design, I love photography, I love all of the things that go into being a content creator. And I'm lucky that I get to do it, to be honest with you. Okay, cardstock. What weight do I typically use? And let's see here. What are my favorite brands and colors? So I think as a base, I like 100 pound. Most of the companies whose cardstock I use, Simon Says Stamp, Concord and Ninth, and Spellbinders, those are my three, and Gina K. Those are my main cards that I have, cardstock, and I love it. I love that weight. Most of them are 100, and I think that's kind of the way you want to go, because not necessarily all for card bases. I do like as heavy as I can get for a card base, but 100 pound usually feels pretty good, and that can usually work. So I hope that helps. Those are all my favorite brands. First time for a Q&A. Can't wait for the discussions. Oh, good. I hope you're here today. Press plate versus stamp. Oh, press plates. See, that works with the better press. That's pressing your image into the paper to create a little textural dip. Stamps are just stamps. They sit on the surface of the paper. So for a press plate, you need to have a system, usually right now it's the Better Press, to be able to use it. They're fun, they're different, but I think stamps are a little easier to onboard with, to use a corporate term. See, sometimes I'm pretty corporate. Oh, okay, let's see. If I had one die cut machine only, what would I choose? I would choose my electronic machine, which is behind me, my Anna Griffin Impress. It's electric, it's fabulous. It was worth every penny I paid. And I got it on sale from Home Shopping Network a while ago. Yeah, and again, I know there's a lot. We have so many. I don't think we're going to be even remotely close to getting through all of them. So I may do another. Hey, this is a question from Andrew and Bertha Pilgrim. Best forms for buying, destashing. I have no idea. So if anyone in the comments has some suggestions, I've never done a destash or anything like that, but I know they exist. And I think they're smart because it's a way to share and exchange and all that good stuff. So yeah, thank you. Oh, Janet loves my channel. And she says, I'm a newbie card maker, want to know what paper weight to use. I'm going to pop that open a little. And yeah, so I always say you start with 100-pound. That's a good go-to. And if you're going to make an envelope for a dimensional card, you don't know what weight to choose. So, okay, I don't know a lot about making envelopes. I will tell you this. I have a great stash of old pattern paper, 12 by 12. That weight, which is usually about a 60-pound, on a pattern paper, that is fantastic for making envelopes. Two things. One, it's easier to work with because of the weight, and it's pretty. And then all you have to do is just put an opaque label when you're putting it through the mail. I don't know how much pattern paper you have, but a 60-pound pattern paper, and I could be right on, I think I'm right on that, but that would be my choice. And I have made cards like that. I have, let's see, where are we at? I've made envelopes. All right. Oh my goodness, so many people are getting into sharing their love. I would need your learning about it. So I will tell you this, because I've seen questions pop up in the chat. When I filmed videos for a really long time, for like a long time, I just used iMovie on my Mac. You don't need a state-of-the-art, right, to make a simple video. A couple years ago, though, I wanted to make better videos and I wanted to have a more streamlined process. So I switched to Premiere Pro. It's an Adobe program that's part of the whole Adobe cloud that I pay like $62 a month for all of the programs that I use. Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, excuse me, and that's what I use for filming. This here is Ecamm Live. It's a great, I have to pay to use it. It's about $400 a year for the pro subscription. It works great. And it's, it's something that I've used for a while. I've never used anything else and it's great. But I'm going to link to the posts that I mentioned earlier. I will update after the live and you can read these posts that talk about just this very thing. I don't have a video for it, but I have information that will be helpful. Kelly, how am I separating and storing my cardstock and how do I label it? All by company. And I keep it in these Stampin' Storage wood things and they're great. Yeah, and they work great for me. I spent like $600, maybe more, on getting them for my Calyx units because that company has started giving me stuff for free, but back then they didn't, and they're great. Again, my craft room tour shows a lot of things. Even though things have changed in terms of my technology, the core hasn't. So be sure to check out, and again, I will add that to my description. All right, let's see. Oh, how do I organize? Shawnee wants to know, how do I organize stamps and dies? I do it by company. And then I put them in these bins. And I have many bins inside my closet that I recently took over all the space. So by company and then by theme. Like I'll have Simon Says Stamp Nature and all the little nature dies. Simon Says Stamp Floral, all my floral dies and stamps. Like I do them that way. It's loose, but it's helpful. Same thing with my own dies, like birthday, seasonal, all the little things, Also, I just saw this question, who makes my magnetic glasses? Pear Eyewear. Okay. Hope that answered your question. It's not too detailed. I learned it all from Jennifer McGuire. So let's see here. Susan wants to know, sometimes she's just sitting and, oh, motivation. Okay, that's a hard one. Yep. You know, okay, I have a limited social group too. I send most of my cards to my girlfriends, Tara and Molly, because they live out of state. They love my cards. I sent cards to Molly's kids when I remember their birthdays, because they're younger than mine. And I send cards to my friend Tara because we met through scrapbooking and she likes my crafty things. And yes, there are giveaway places that you can do big donations of cards to. I will have to look around to see. I know there are places, but like cards for veterans and cards for causes and all these things. So I guess, you know, sometimes it's just the joy of making, and maybe you don't have anyone to send it to, and that's okay. Because that's what I do. I make way more cards than I send. Way more. I want to make more of an effort. Yeah, see, that's just it, Ralph. I'm like, I have a card from Ralph too. Thank you, Ralph. You remember that one you sent me? Anyway, retirement homes, long-term care homes. Thank you, Mindy. Those are good. But yeah, sometimes for me, because of my work, I have way too many cards. But if you don't have someone to send it to, you know, just put it in a little plastic sleeve and set it aside and maybe file it under whatever category it is, and then you'll have one ready to go. Okay, let's see. Joan Bardee. Hey, Joan, I love your cards. How do trends develop? You know what? I think there is a wizard that tells people what will be trendy. I don't know, like why this year will armadillos be trendy. And I don't know that. I'm just throwing it out. You know, like you don't know, like this is the year of the owl, or, you know, like it just, I don't know. I don't know who decides this. Does it come from fashion? Does it come from the textile industry? Does it come from, like, where does it come from? I don't know. It doesn't come from me. I'll tell you that much. We will soon see. And there's another question about, do I mail them? And no, I don't. I should send more out. I have so many. I have boxes. I have boxes of cards. And a lot of them are really cute too. So, you know, it's not weird. You're not alone. I think we all have a lot of cards that we could send. Anna Wintour. Yeah, Anna Wintour. Is that how you pronounce her name? It all comes from her. Okay. Oh, let's see. That's question. I gotta click on this. Kimberly. Are there any non-name brand products in my stash? You know, I just work mostly with the small companies. But I will tell you this, you know, there's a symbiotic relationship if you rely on affiliate income, which I do, with companies that have affiliate programs. I am not going to work with a company that does not have an affiliate program. That just doesn't make sense for my business. You know, you can only make so much money on ads on YouTube. I mean, I do make ad revenue every month. It's part of the pie. It's a chunk, and I appreciate that chunk very much. but I don't work with companies that don't have an affiliate relationship because there's just not that's not sustainable. Does that make sense? I don't mean it to sound crass. It's just the truth. And so many small makers, we are trying to, earn that affiliate income. And sometimes it's a lot and sometimes it's not a lot. So, and that's another thing you don't know until you get into it. So I don't really stick with I don't do that unless so it's usually small companies. The Juicy Fruit song. Gosh, I loved M2May. When will we get to see you make the skank card? If you know what I'm talking about, I don't know. I'm going to have to see about making the skank card. It was a play on a product. Family updates. Yeah, I don't share a lot of their info. My kids are adults. They're doing great. I can tell you about my husband. He's doing great. His name is Dan. Sometimes he drives me crazy, but he's back at school this week, and that's a good thing. And my kids are doing great, and I love them so much, and they're just awesome people, and I'm really proud of both of them, and I'm grateful for the relationship I have with both of them. Other than making cards, my job is to be their parent and acknowledge who they are and help them in any way that I can as they work their way through this complicated thing called life. So yeah, that's all I say about them. I just don't, they've made it very clear when they became adults, off limits, mom. And I'm like, I love that. And I know that disappoints some of you who I shared so many stories when they were kids, but it's just the natural evolution, and plus I've done a lot of therapy. Okay. And Jill, I answered that question. Yes, I do. I do organize by company and within that occasion. One line of inks. Can't do that one, Donna Rose. I just love them all. I love the ones I mentioned. Texture paste. Ooh, that one, here's the thing. Ketro, I'm not the expert on the texture paste, but I know what you mean about cutting it out and having it stick. Here's the thing. Let it dry overnight. Don't go right to it, okay? Overnight. Because you don't want it to get stuck in the grooves, but you can also the next day take that dye, get a toothbrush, and clean. I think I will go to 1:30 for today, and if we don't get through all of it, we'll come back. I'll make a note of where I left and answer more questions. Oh, my favorite color of cardstock. I would have to say pink. I mean, that question kind of popped up earlier, but in general, pink. I don't know what is less expensive. I use Spellbinders. I have their new cardstock. It's beautiful. I love the pink from Simon Says Stamp. It's color called Cotton Candy. I love the pink from Concord and Ninth. It's called Pink Lemonade. But I think those are all similarly priced. Here's the thing. I do buy a lot of cardstock. Some I get sent to me, some I buy. And I just believe in the quality cardstock is one of the best ingredients, but I'm sure at some of the big box stores, there are better deals on cardstock. So I would check those, even though I tend to gravitate and want to support the smaller companies. All right. Victoria found me on the YouTube. I make card making look easy. Thank you. Thank you for that. I feel frozen when I take out my supplies. Maybe because card makers are starting with the 8.5, you have that 12 by 12. Now listen, I don't make 6 by 6 cards, but you can make 6 by 6 cards. People do. However, take that beautiful cardstock that you have, cut it to 8.5 by 11, save the other pieces. You can, save the trim off. You can use that for something else and start with an 8.5 by 11 paper. And then you can make something with that. You don't have to not use that 12 by 12 paper, and you don't have to actually make it a 6 by 6. Save your scraps that you cut off and do what I used to do in scrapbooking. File them by color. Don't file them by company. If you have pattern paper scraps, file them by color. Then anytime you're working on something like that requires multiple pieces, you just patch it in. Just patch it in. So good. My goodness, I've been talking a lot. Okay. And again, Joanne, by company and theme. Company and theme. See, some of these we're going to come around. Oh, I refer to the rule of threes in design, but what is the rule? Okay, there's the rule of thirds, and then there's the rule of odd numbers, okay? The rule of thirds is a compositional design convention where you divide into 9 quadrants, and where the intersections of those quadrants appear are key areas of visual interest and good for placement of elements on a design. The rule of 3 or 5 or 7 or 9, that is just a thing in design where odd numbers can feel more energizing and less predictable. Less predictable is not a bad thing in design. It just means something that has a little more energy than a perfectly symmetrical placement. So it's more of a, is that a rule? It's a convention, I guess, and it's meant to be broken as well. Sometimes I go odd, sometimes I go even, but hopefully that helps. Okay, now I'm gonna see here. Oh, die hairs. I dye hairs. Listen, here's what you're gonna do on your dye hairs, okay? Get some tape, get some low-tack tape, and when you flip, you got the dye hairs, flip your dye over and just take that tape and just potch it up. Pick it up. You're not potching, you're picking, okay? Right? Or add a shim to your machine. You might need a cleaner cut, so whether it's a metal shim, you can get a thin metal shim to put in your sandwich. That can help clean them up, but I oftentimes just use tape and just pick it up. Yeah, okay. And Tim Holtz rotary trimmer. Oh, see, I do have the rotary trimmer. I don't use it that much though. I think you just need to engage and press in. Engage and press in. Make sure that you are pressed in and engaged, because that's how the clean cut happens. The clean cut. Thank you, Kelly. I'm talking a lot out there. Oh, my mojo. It isn't hard technically, because it's so fun, and I haven't hit a burnout yet. I don't know when I will. But yeah, and you heard my small creator tips earlier to build your following, so hopefully that was answered before. Yeah, I've got some good info, and I will update my supply list or my info below. There's no supplies, with some links and things that I have referenced in this video. Maggie, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us, we get all these supplies and then we don't know what to make because we have too many things. I mean, like I said, I have to keep things moving out to make for things coming in. So there is definitely I have to achieve stasis in my studio. So things come out, things come in, things come out, things come in. Consider donating. People have left some really great suggestions for places you can donate craft supplies if you want to make room for new things coming in, or look for trade groups or groups on Facebook maybe that have people who actually want to give stuff away for free or whatever, that can work too. Okay, Tracy's gone blank. Let's see here. What's my favorite stamping ink when I'm going to use coloring stencils so the ink doesn't smudge? Like I said, the Gina K, Black Onyx. Also, I should mention Memento Tuxedo Black also. These are that's another one, but that's more what I use for Copic coloring. Not that I do a lot of it. Yes, okay, and I'm looking at your die question. It could be that your plate pressure may be a little too hard. That's a hard one to answer if it's not cutting perfectly 90-degree corners. So, play with different sandwiches. Play with maybe if you have a shim in there, don't use a shim. I don't know the Pro Cuts, so it could be your machine's offering too much pressure. Just a thought. All right. Oh, 3 hours ago. We're getting down, but I still think there's more to go. Marlene Youngman wants to know, best way to clean stencils that have paste on them. Hot water, hot soapy water, and wipe them with a paper towel first so that you're not just throwing that down the stream, but wash them quickly. You got to get it off quickly. Whatever you're doing, don't let them sit because it's just going to be harder to get off. Yeah. A lot of questions about inks, and do I have a class on different inks? I don't, but I will tell you this. I only have one different set of, okay, I have a lot of brushes, but most of them are for dye inks, okay? Water-based inks. I have one complete set of brushes for pigment or oxide because it's a different formulation, and I do not use the same brushes for pigment, oxide, and dye. I keep that separate. But everything else is, wait, am I supposed to boop on something? I just see that. Anyway, everything else is just for dye inks. So one set of separate brushes for pigment or oxide. But you wouldn't have to, honestly. I just do it because I can. Linda wants to know how to cut photopolymer apart. Sharp scissors. I will tell you what. Well, here's one that I really like. These cutter bees. Or, I know these are really big. I cut myself on these once, the Spellbinders. I've used these to cut photopolymer because they cut like the butter. Okay, so sharp scissors will do it. Detailed blending brushes. Oh, you know what? Here's the thing. I really like the little ones from Gina because I like the flathead sometimes. I feel like I have a little more control over the flatheads. I really do like those. I have the Simon ones. I use them on different projects when I need maybe more area. But the little flatheads, that's been a new discovery for me in terms of blending. And I think they're really nice. And it's usually like, how small is the area that I'm working in? That will help me decide as well. You know, like if it's really small, I like those little flatheads, but if it's a little bigger, maybe I want that Simon brush that's the small one, but not too small. Kind of just depends. Sometimes it depends on what company products I'm working with too, based on what I'm going to use. Because if I'm working with Gina's products, I want to support what she's selling and I will use her brushes. I will say this though, I don't use brushes that I don't like. So there you go. I won't use someone's brushes just because they sent them to me. Okay, unless I like them. Joan wants to know about my homemade jig, the quadrants on, that is I have a link in my description right here on this video, and to show the quadrants. You don't need anything special. You need a printer and you need a piece of acetate that works with your printer. I have an inkjet printer, so I bought a pack of inkjet acetate. I have a PDF, it's free. You download the PDF, you print it. I have all the instructions in the blog post, so that's a link in my description, and that's where you get it. That's where you get it. Okay, here. What are my personal top 5? Joanne. Crafting tools or methods. Number 5. Let's go with tools. Number 5, tape. Low-tack tape. Love low-tack tape. Number 4. Oh my gosh. What do I use all the time? Craft picks. Number 3. Oh my gosh. You know what? This Tim Holtz Media Mat, because you can glue on it and it's the best. Number 2. I'm trying to think of the tools. Oh, okay. It's going to be this guy, the Stampin' Bug. And number 1, the Misty. There you go. I would not be here. That is what I bought when I first started making cards. And then the owner of the Misty actually sent me one, but number 1 is the Misty. That's why I was able to keep making cards. I never stamped before because I wasn't very good at it. And that one tool, that is the best tool that has come, I think, for me into my crafting world. I've never looked back. So, okay, Mojo, what do I do when I want to get it back? Honestly, if the time comes that I don't have Mojo I just walk away. I do something else. I watch a show on the Netflix. I eat snacks. I just say, yeah, I'm good. I don't try to make fetch happen. Rule number 1. Okay. Nancy wants to know where I got that turntable from. AnnaGriffin.com. She sells it. It's expensive and it's worth it. Do I have any words of wisdom for AS card design? And I think I did share some of that. You know, here's the encouragement again. If you love it and are having fun, that will inform what you're doing. Do not get hung up on the numbers. It's hard. And I will say this about YouTube. I'm lucky that I get to do this. I mean, do I work really hard? Yes, I do. Am I lucky that people watch my videos and that I can make a living? Yes. I had a background in scrapbooking and it brought me into this world. And then people like Jennifer McGuire and Gina Kay said, hey, you should check out Cathy. She's fun and makes cute cards. And, you know, not everybody has that leg up, but you just have to keep doing it. And if you're not loving it, then you stop doing it. I watch videos on YouTube all the time. I am always learning, okay? There is always something to learn. And I watch a lot of videos that might surprise you. They're not about crafting. They're not about any of this sort of thing. They're about algorithm and thumbnails and what can small creators do. Like there's so much information on this platform about this platform. Some of it I watch and I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Like there's channels that I follow what they talk about, you know, with 100 subscribers, you can make a living. And I'm like, I don't know if that's accurate, but I do know there's a lot of information out there that's ripe for the picking. And I love that. So ingest information about YouTube because there is a lot out there that can be helpful. Okay. I know that I'm just going to scroll down and see how many. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're actually almost through all of these questions. And I think I'm going to do this. Okay. Slow dive into, we're almost through the posts and I wanted to get through the community posts first. A slow dive into heat embossing. I could do that at some point. That's a good idea. Gonna jot that down. Oh, glue seeping out the side of the sticky residue. You know, you can always take an adhesive eraser and try to get it out of the way. That could be a thing. All right, I'm gonna scroll up here and say, Linda, acrylic markers, never used them. I'm sorry, I've never used them. Barb, where will it go next? Oh, Barb, I don't know, but I hope you're there. I know Barb, she's awesome. I need a new paper trimmer. Phyllis, the Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer, the big one. I love it. It's my most used trimmer. I think it's fantastic. And yeah, it's the best. I never knew this until I started making cards. It's my main trimmer and I love it. How do I store my larger embossing folders, such as the one from Spellbinders? I keep them in my closet now. I keep them, okay, they used to be called Veriera bins from IKEA. Now they're called Up Do Terra or something. That style of bin, I keep them all in there. The bigger ones fit the Spellbinders ones and the smaller 3D ones, and I just kind of keep them in a row. And they're kind of a hot mess because they're labeled each one by what name it is, but they're not really organized, but that's where I keep them. Buckeye Joy, yes, it's the Tim Holtz guillotine. Love it. Sharon, and the instructions say cut into the clear plates. Okay, here's the thing. I have cut into the mat because Anna Griffin does. It doesn't, you can do whatever makes sense, but here's the thing. If I have paper that's not super thick, I'll cut into the mat. If I have a thick cardstock like Nina Classic Crest 110 pound, I will cut into the plate. I will set the sandwich up so that I'm cutting into the plate because it's going to give me a crisper cut on heavy cardstock. So there's not a correct way. Either way, it depends on what you're cutting. And I do both. Yep, I do both. Brushes. Again, DW, it's number one, whose products am I using? What brushes do they have? That more than anything will influence what I use. So, and I do have all the things. I have all the things, but they're great quality things. And so there you go. I think we're going to get through these. And I will do another one. Let's see. Robin, do I ever use a Cricut? I just bought one. And actually I have to thank Ralph because he gave me some advice. I bought a Cricut Joy Extra to do stuff for Dan for school. We haven't really done a lot with it, but I have one, and yeah, I wanted to have an electric cutter for he does stuff for his students indoors, and I know how to do graphic design stuff, so it's pretty fun. Haven't done much with it, but I hope to. Oh, and that was that thing again with the, it could, I just wonder if it's, Andrea, I wonder if it's just too much pressure. You can always reach out, if it's Platinum 6, which I see there, you can always reach out to the maker and see. Okay. Oh, Anne wants to know, the spattering thing, it doesn't hurt my finger. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I have extra fat on my hands. I don't know, but it does not hurt. Susan, I would add a shim. It shouldn't be worn out after 5 years. If you add a shim, but if it's not, you can always check with the manufacturer, because I've not had problems with mine, but I probably don't use it as much as, I'm using things all the time. Oh, and then we're down to is that the very last one? I can't even see it. What type of cutter did I use to cut the Tim Holtz? It's a question you can't see, into smaller pieces. Here, I can't, that's the question. I used the Tim Holtz guillotine, and that's what I did. Okay, so that's an hour and a half. I think that's good. I know there are a lot of questions in the comments. I'm going to do another one of these. I just wanted to get through all the things here. And I hope that was helpful. It's a different kind of video. Boy, I look a little wild. But again, you can always send me Cathy at cathyzielski.com. I'm happy to answer questions there. Again, another thing about going live is they're always ad-free during lives, but I always turn the ads on after. So if you always wonder, like, where are the ads coming from? Again, it's just another way to get some income off of the videos that I make. And, hopefully you understand that, but I don't do it when I'm live. So I appreciate all the questions. It's been a year since I've done this. And again, you can always email me if you had a burning question in the chat. I think I have to stop now and get back to work. Well, have lunch. Wait, what am I not supposed to forget, Ingrid? What, boop? Was I supposed to go boop? But there is a lot coming for Stamptember, and there's a link in my description for when I'm going to be live. It's going to be a different day next week. I probably will be live Wednesday too, but I'm going to do a special for the first day of Stamptember. Oh, the poll. Okay, let's see. I will say close it, and oh my gosh, do I have to go to the bathroom? You would not believe how bad. Oh, it's really kind of split with all seasons all the time and all the other things. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Hey, Brianne, you're just coming in at the end, but you know what? We appreciate you. That is all I have today. Again, please keep Minneapolis in your thoughts, and let's find ways to surround those families with love. I appreciate you for being here today, and I will see you back here. Well, Friday I'll have a video for you, and then Stamptember kicks off. So I hope you have a great day. And if you're watching on rewatch, thank you so much for watching as well. And I will see you all back here with another card project soon. Bye. Thanks so much for joining me today for my live stream. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love to have you, so hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss the next time I post. Here are a few more videos you might be interested in checking out. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.